Hi, I've decided to do Aguas de Março at last by Jobim, and I've been looking at it the last few days. It is a very complex piece, but I have tried to break it down into small pieces that are easy to learn and to remember. So the first thing I've done is I've taken the song, I've transposed it from the key of B flat, which most versions have. I've taken it down half a step, but I haven't changed the voicings of the chords, which is a big advantage because you can keep very nice chords actually in that key. Okay, so we moved from the key of B flat to the key of A. The other thing is that if you look at the chords in this song, and the chords themselves are not complex. In fact, there are 5 chord sequences that you need to learn, and you can use them as building blocks. Once you know these chord sequences, then you need to know how to place them in the song, and this is the real difficulty, not the chords themselves, is which sequence goes into which part of the song. And it's a very long song with lots of lyrics, and that is the complexity. So I tried to map those building blocks onto the song, and I hope that will help. So the first thing I did is I moved from B flat to A, okay, to make it easier to understand actually. So it is a lot easier to play in spite of the fact I've kept the same voicings, but because the A key is easier on the guitar and you can use some open strings, that makes life easy. So easier to play, easier to understand. And the other thing actually is that you will notice that the song uses throughout, in most of the sequences I'm going to show you, you get the principle of a tonic chord. So you've got the A, followed by an A7th, some kind of dominant form, and this is preparing the way to go to a D major, okay, D major 7 in this case, and then we go to the D minor 6th as it happens, okay, it's some kind of D minor shape to go back to A. So this is called a minor Plagal cadence, going from the normal Plagal cadence goes from 4, so we go from D back to A, for example, and the minor Plagal cadence goes from, say, D minor, and then back to the tonic. Okay, so if you remember that, you will see throughout the song, or you can hear throughout the song, this happening. And then back to A. This can be really helpful because, as I said, most of the sequences that I'm going to show you that you will have to memorize, or that you will need to memorize, follow that pattern. There is one sequence that doesn't, and that one goes, it's a more chromatic sequence, and it goes a little bit like this. But it's very easy to play, especially in the key of A. You can see that the A string here comes in quite handy. So I'm going to start with the sequence which I've called A, and it's in 2 halves. The first half goes like this. So this is an A over G, okay, like an A7, as I mentioned earlier, and then in this case we've got an F sharp minor but 6, okay, and that could be assimilated to like a D major chord, okay, although this is also the relative minor for the A, if you think about it. Okay, so starting with A, F sharp minor, minor 6, D minor 6 over F. Okay, very simple chord, nice chord. And then we go to A major 7 over E. Okay, so you can see this chord either as an E dominant chord here with a 6th, for example, or as an A major 7, but with an E on the bass. Huh? So I call the A major 7 over E. Okay, so this is A1, first sequence. The second one starts here. So we've gone from here, and then we start, and this is an E flat chord. Okay, now notice how close this E flat chord is to an A7 sharp 5. Okay, if you listen. Okay, so we start. Usually we go from the rest of the song. Usually we're going from a bass chord like an A6. Now I've used the A6 as the general bass chord, or the home bass. Okay, so the second part, as I said, A2 is. And we go from here to a D major, in this case it's a D major 9, okay, it's like a D major 7 with a 9, D major 9, okay, and then we go to a G13, so I'll start again, so. To the home chord, actually, the A6. Okay, so we've looked at A1 and A2. Okay, so really quite easy to memorize. The third one is B. Okay, so we've looked at A1, the first half, A2, second half of A, and now we look at B. And B starts with this chord, which is an A. It's an A9 suspended. That goes very quickly to an A7 9, and then we go to this chord, which is an E flat minor 7 flat 5, which actually you can play here. And once again, notice how close this shape is to a D major 7. Okay, so we've gone from here, which is an A suspended, to once again an A, but we've got the 7th and the 9th here, okay? And we've gone to an E flat minor 7 flat 5, okay? And we go to the finish on the D minor 6, okay? D minor 7, D minor 6, and that's your B. And the fourth sequence I've showed you in the introduction is A minor over obviously bass A. This is a B over A, and this is a B flat over A back to A. Okay. And the only remaining sequence is a very, very short sequence that starts the solo. There is a solo in the song that uses the sequences that you've seen already, but there are two additional chords that you need to be able to play, and that's D chord over C and the C over B flat. So virtually the same chord. solo, and I think there's A1, A2, and something else. Okay, so let me recap the different sequences, chord sequences, building blocks that you need to memorize. So the first one, as I said, I'll start from a home chord. A1, A2. This is B. Okay, and then I can go to any of the sequences. If I want to go back to A1, I can, or if I'm here and I want to go to A2, okay, if I want to go to B, notice how the bass moves, huh? Okay. And if I go to A2, okay, so once you know these sequences, these 5 sequences, A1, A2, B, C, and D, which is the little bridge for the solo, you need to look at the map of the song. And the map of the song will guide you as to which verse uses which sequences. And here you can see the map. And it doesn't make it immediate. You really have to spend time to understand how the song is constructed, but I hope that this map actually guides you because the chords are easy. So once you learn your sequences and you've got them under your belt, in your fingers, then it's a lot easier to tackle the complexity of the song. And you can start by looking at the map, looking at the lyrics. I've tried to put on the map the first lyrics, the first few words of each verse, so that you know where you are in the song. And if you want to play along, it's very easy. Although I've taken this song down to A major, by putting a capo on 1, you can play these chords and play along most of the versions, which are in B flat. And obviously, if you decide to play it in B flat, you will find it extremely easy because you will recognize most of the voicings that I use in A are identical to the ones that I used in B flat. For example, this is how the song starts in B flat. I start it like this, you start it like this, okay? And then you've got this chord. So the chords are almost identical, really. So you can play along with the capo or learn the chords later if you want to play it, if you really want to play it in that key. Okay, good luck.